Hey guys, Bobby Bollinger here. I'm bringing you my Week 11 predictions for the NFL. Now, things did not work out last week, and I ended up not posting a video, unfortunately, but I'm having this one up, and I think I've developed a new system. See, I record on an iPod, and because of its age, its battery has gone to crap. I'll be honest. This battery does not last for anything. So whenever I tried to record these videos, like 2.5 minutes in, the thing would die. I mean, when playing YouTube videos or just doing stuff on it, it'll last like 45 minutes, I think, which is alright. I don't expect much more from it, but recording videos I just could not do. But I found a way to fix it, though it's still not ideal. Currently, and I'll disconnect it for a little bit, I'm recording while this thing is connected to a charger. Also a clock, but mostly a charger. To ensure that this thing does not run out of batteries. Now, the problem is a really poor angle, and with this thing having to be, the charger having to be plugged in, the setup of it does not allow for very good angles, as you can see. Like, you can see the keyboard. How long has it been since you guys have seen this keyboard? But it does allow me to make videos, period, and allows me to make them as long as I want. Also, I have to hold this thing up with my fingers to keep it from slipping off the charger like that. But to just get a video out really will be worth it, so. Anyway, last week I went 10-4, which is pretty good. I missed the Jets-Buccaneers game. Also the Bears-Packers game, because I took the Bears. Redskins-Vikings, I messed up on that, because Casey Keenum's getting that offense down now. The Cowboys Falcons game, I did not know Tyron Smith was injured for that game, or that their best defensive player was also out of that game in addition to Elliott. Now, even knowing those things, I think I would have took the Cowboys. But if I had known Chaz Green was the worst offensive lineman in NFL history, I probably would have taken the Falcons. This is the longest I have gone without clicking this button. Okay, last week, 10-4, so now record is 84-62. With Thursday's game, technically 85-62, but it was pretty good last week, I gotta say. I watched the Colts game, and does it explain this Thursday night game very, very well. Now, the Titans' quality of a team was questionable, but for the Steelers to almost lose to the Colts and then completely blow out a playoff team, that's a pretty big sign of we're not even bothering to prepare for weak teams and just trying to beat up on the big teams. And I hate it. It's sleazy. It'll get you regular season wins. It will. But when it backfires on you, it backfires horribly. And when it comes to the playoffs, it is terrible. Like, that alone is I think is the reason the Steelers have not been to the Super Bowl in so long. Just that they use that style to get their wins, and if you use that, And really, you can't use that in the playoffs. Because if it backfires once, you're done. It's over. So I think the Steelers' quality is a bit overstated. And they'll make the playoffs, but no further. Anyway, I kind of figured they'd win, though, because I do think the Steelers, with all that said, are a better team than the Titans. Next game, Jaguars Browns. Yeah, Jaguars. Surprisingly, the Browns have not allowed a single 100-yard rusher or 300-yard passer, and for a team that has yet to win a game, that's pretty impressive. Now, the Jaguars' defense is going to obliterate the Browns' O-line, like most other teams have done. So there's very little chance the Browns pull this one off. Buccaneers versus Dolphins. Oh boy. You know, back in week 1 when this was supposed to go down, this was a big matchup because the Buccaneers looked like a really powerful team, and so did the Dolphins. But things kind of happened, and neither of these teams are any good at all. Now, who do I think will win? Oh, that is a very tough one. Because it's like, when two crappy teams go against each other, it's like, which one should I pick? I'm picking the Buccaneers, but with Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake tearing at a pitiful O-line, I can easily see the Dolphins taking it as well. Ravens versus Packers. The Packers finally got their first win without Aaron Rodgers in a long, long time against the Bears. Now, while the Bears are a division rival, I don't think they're the same quality as the Ravens, and the Ravens should be able to take this. Also because Mitch Trubisky actually put on a good performance against the Packers. Obviously not enough to win, but there are two possibilities for that. One of them is he's just getting into the groove of being an NFL quarterback, which is good for the Bears. The other is that the Packers secondary and the Packers defense as a whole just really, really sucks. And if it's the second one, you can bet the Ravens are winning this. Lions versus Bears. Hey, look, the Bears are back. And, every time I go into a comment section for a video or a news story that involves the Lions in any way, there's always this one person that says the Lions don't get the respect they deserve. I cannot agree with that, because my belief is you earn respect, and how much respect do I give the Lions? Obviously not that much. Now, the running game against the Lions, the Bears should be able to just pound this rock easily. And if Mitch Trubisky really is settling into the role of quarterback, you could see some very good things happen here. As for the Lions, they've got a good passing game, but really that's it. The O-line still needs improvement, the D-line still needs improvement, and this is basically the same team from last year. There weren't really any improvements, and that kind of sucks for them. Rams versus Vikings. This is a huge matchup. Both of these teams are doing really well, and either of them could win this game. It would not surprise me. The Rams, I'm picking the Rams for this. because I think their offense has more options than the Vikings do. Like, Casey Keenum is definitely stepping into the role of a Vikings quarterback, showing that it's not the hardest thing to do. But that's basically the limit of Vikings offense. They don't get the run going that well. Better than last year, but still not very well. As for the Rams, their offense just seems to alternate. There are weeks where it's Todd Gurley just dominating the game completely on his own. And when he isn't going well, it's the Jared Goff and his receivers that are just dominating. And it's really weird, but it obviously works. And I don't think either of these teams will be scoring a ton on each other, but I think the Rams just have more options on offense. And like I said, it would not surprise me at all to see the Vikings pull this off. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams went to the Super Bowl. That's just how big this matchup is. It could be an NFC North Championship for this year. Also, before I move on to the next slide, may I just say how happy I am to not even be halfway through these predictions and have an 11-minute video without worrying about this thing dying. It's nice. Okay, Cardinals, Texans. Ugh. That's really all you guys say about this game is ugh. Now, I'm gonna take the Texans to win this because, while yes, Tom Savage kind of sucks. But from what I've seen, guys that jump into the offense, they take some time to get into what they are. Like Casey Keenum, he's just now getting into his role as a Vikings quarterback and pulling that off pretty well. Tom Savage, I think he could do this. I think he'll settle into it this game. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Cardinals win this game either because they both kind of suck, but I'm gonna take the Texans for this. No rhyme or reason, just a little bit of a hunch. Okay. This could be a huge trap game, and I did not actually look at who the Chiefs are up against next, so they could easily get trapped here. But even if that's the case, I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Giants, in addition to not being very good on offense, are kind of dysfunctional and might not actually be able to beat the Browns. Okay. Redskins versus Saints. The Saints have been on a tear and might just be the best team in the NFL. The thing for me, though, is this defense sucked. Like, was one of the worst in the NFL up until this season, and suddenly has become one of the best in the NFL. And that doesn't just happen. That isn't something that just, boom, it's here. There are going to be depth issues in it. So if someone gets injured, boom, right back to a crappy defense. And, to be quite honest, there is a way to gas this team. I don't know what it is yet, but a team cannot go from being the worst in the NFL to one of the best in the NFL without having some way to gas it. And somebody will gas it. I don't know who, I don't know when, but somewhere, Saints defense will fall. Just not here. And even if it does, you got Drew Brees, and you've given him an incredible running attack. an incredible running attack that is going without Adrian Peterson, funnily enough. Now, I would not be surprised to see the Redskins take this. They have a good O-line. They have a good quarterback, who, by the way, headlines, they are going to keep. They would be stupid to release him. So I won't be too shocked if they win, but for now, it's definitely the Saints taking it. Bills versus Chargers. Well, heading into this week, I gave the win to the Bills. Then I learned that the coach benched Tyrod Taylor for no reason. I mean, his O-line's weakened. It's not a bad O-line for him. But that receiving core, it rivals the Browns for worst in the NFL. And switching your quarterbacks while your team is winning in playoff position does not sit well for me, and I think that there's just going to be this lack of trust coming from it that's going to ruin the Bills and give the Chargers a win. Heading into this week, I was fairly certain the Bills would rebound. I can't be sure of that anymore. I mean, LaShawn McCoy, if he gets going, and against the Chargers he definitely could get going, he could take this game away, but the move was just so weird and so obviously wrong. And I don't like Tyrod Taylor either, but when your team's on a roll, you don't switch out the quarterback. You just don't. Bengals versus Broncos. You know what? I knew the Broncos wouldn't be the Patriots last week, and I know they're collapsing, but I'm pretty sure the defense can single-handedly take on the Bengals. It should not be hard. The O-line for the Bengals is going to be collapsed. Dalton's going to be on the ground constantly, and the Broncos should score enough to win. Heading into the season, this was a highlight game. This was probably, I think, it was predicted to be the best game of the season, the must-watch of the season. And now, the Raiders are looking kinda crappy. So, I think the Patriots can win this quite handily. Now, there is a situation where the Raiders win this. But they have to score quick, and they have to score a lot. Because the Patriots, they love to run the ball. They have like 5 running backs. It's what they do. And it's something that can definitely gas the Raiders. So the Raiders have to get rid of the running game as an option as soon as possible. So that if they get ahead early by a lot, then Brady will be forced to throw and stay in the pocket for a little longer, and with injuries to the O-line and Khalil Mack chasing him down, it's possible for him to be sacked quite a few times. Now, the problem there is Raiders scoring quick and Raiders scoring a lot. That's going to be a tall order. Because even though I don't trust this defense, it's looked good only against bad offenses. Even though I don't trust the Patriots defense, what I've seen of it is that it usually collapses later in the game. So I don't think that the option the Raiders have for victory is really going to be present. Eagles versus Cowboys. This was supposed to be a great matchup. But then Chaz Green. Falcons versus Seahawks. Oh, this this is a tough one. Like, they've lost Richard Sherman. They've lost Cam Chancellor. I mean, the only thing that's left of the Legion of Boom is Earl Thomas. And as good as he is, it's going to be up to those rookies to step up against Julio Jones. Or Julio Jones. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's going to be a tall order. But the Falcons have been kind of struggling. They're nowhere near as good as they were last year. They're kind of where they were the year before last year, where they fell off a cliff. And I gotta say, this could easily turn into a shootout. And if that's the case, well, Russell Wilson has already won one against the Texans. So I'm going to give this to the Seahawks. Now I say that, but the Falcons could really burn that rookie secondary, and it's going to be a telling game for the depth of the Seahawks. And that's all for the week. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you don't hate this setup too much. It's not really that much worse than what I've usually had. Tell me who you think's gonna win, and I'll see you next time. G'day.